Before we get into today's topic, I have a question for you. What's one type of inventory you've decided is no longer worth your time to sell? Maybe it's common books, low-value clothing, bulky hard goods, or something that takes far too much work for the profit. Leave your answer in the comments because today we're talking about how to decide when donating inventory is actually smarter or the smarter business move. Have you ever looked at a pile of items and thought, I know these have some value, but do they have enough value to be worth all this work? That happened to me recently with a batch of common books. I'd recently decided I wasn't going to list that one by one. They were ordinary titles, the kind that might eventually sell, but probably not for enough money to justify researching, photographing, listing, storing, packing, and shipping each one. So I tried a book trade-in service. The idea sounded simple. Scan the books, pack them into boxes, print the labels, and send them out. But once I started working through the process, it became clear that the time involved was going to be much greater than the payout. And the app only gave me one shipping label, even though I needed more than one box. The instructions said I should be able to request additional labels, but that wasn't happening. And these books were heavy. Trying to force everything into one box wasn't going to work. After scanning, sorting, packing, and trying to solve the label problem, the estimated payout was about $11. That's right. $11. I still would have needed to load the box into the car, drive to FedEx, and make a special trip just to send them out. And I drive a big vehicle. So I stopped. I canceled the trade-in and decided to donate the books instead. And honestly, that decision felt good. Welcome to Reseller Radio from MoniBee Finds, where I talk about real finds, honest lessons, and smarter reselling. So today we're going to talk about how to tell when donating inventory may be more useful to your business than continuing to chase a small sale. Because profit isn't only, I don't know why I said profit that way, but because profit isn't only the difference between what you paid and what you sold something for. Your time matters. Your storage space matters. Your gas, supplies, energy matter. And the other work you could be doing matters. It's easy to look at something and say, I only paid 50 cents or I only paid $1, so anything I make is profit. But the purchase price is only the beginning. Let's say you paid $1 for an item and you spent 20 minutes researching it. Then you clean it. Take photos, write the listing, store it for 6 months, answer a buyer's question, find it when it sells, pack it, and take it to the carrier. That $1 item may still make money, but it may not make enough money to be the best use of your time. So the goal isn't to squeeze a few dollars out of everything you own. The goal is to use your time and inventory space in a way that supports your business. That means asking a better question. Instead of asking, can I sell this? Or will this sell? Ask, is this worth selling for me? The last part matters for me because every reseller has a different business. As a full-time bookseller with warehouse space, or I'm not a full-time bookseller, I don't have warehouse space, and I don't have high-volume system. But if you were a full-time bookseller with warehouse space and a high-volume system, it may be profitable from books that don't make sense for someone working out of a spare room, like me. A seller who specializes in quick $15 sales may happily list something another person wouldn't touch for less than $50. One seller may enjoy repairing electronics. Another may avoid anything that needs testing. One person may love clothing. Someone else would rather research books all day than measure one more pair of pants. That's no universal rule that says every item must be sold. There's no universal rule. The item has to fit your business, your space, your schedule, and the type of work you're willing to do. So let's walk through a simple way to decide whether to list, bundle, donate, or dispose of an item. The first question is, what's the realistic selling price? Not the highest active listing you can find, not the seller asking $90 for something that normally sells for $12. Look at actual sold prices. What are buyers really paying? Then subtract seller's fees, shipping supplies, and other costs. If the remaining amount is small, the item may still be worth the listing, but only if the work is also small. The second question is, how much work does the item need? Is it clean and ready to photograph? Or does it need stain treatment, testing, repairs, measurement, research, replacing parts, or special packaging? A lower value item that can be listed in 5 minutes may be reasonable. A lower value item that requires an afternoon of work Probably isn't. The third question is, how likely is it to sell? This is where sell-through matters. It doesn't always matter, but this is where it matters. If there are hundreds listed and only a few sold, the item may sit for a long time. If demand is strong and similar items sell regularly, the lower price may still be worthwhile. A cheap item that sells quickly can be more useful than the higher priced item that takes 2 years to move. And I was shocked when I heard people would keep an item for 2 to 4 years. The fourth question is, how much space will it use while you wait? A small book room doesn't take up much room, or a small book doesn't take up much room. A large appliance, framed picture, bulky coat, or fragile decorative item is different. Space has value when you're a small-time seller, or even if you want to appear to be a large-time seller. What the heck? Seller. Space is still valuable. If you're constantly buying more shelves and bins to store low-value inventory, those items are costing you more than the original purchase price. Again, the fifth question is, what else could you do at the same time? So could you list 2 stronger items? Photograph a stack of higher value books. Organize inventory so sold items are easier to find. Prepare shipping supplies. Or take care of something important outside the business. Family, school, your other job, whatever. That doesn't mean every hour has to produce maximum income. It just means your time isn't free. Sometimes donating the 5 low-value items gives you enough time and space to list 1 better item. That can be a good trade. Now, donating isn't the only option. Before you give something away, consider whether it makes sense as a bundle. Several low-value books by the same author may work as a lot. A group of small kitchen items may sell better together. Several related craft supplies or collectibles may become worthwhile once combined. Bundling reduces the number of listings, photos, descriptions, and packages. So your decision doesn't have to be list individually or donate. You really have 4 choices. List it, bundle it, donate it, or dispose of it if it's no longer useful or safe. And we could kind of talk about that safe stuff later. The important thing is to make the decision instead of letting the item sit indefinitely. That's what helped me with those books. Once I decided they weren't worth listing individually and the trade-in process wasn't worth continuing, the answer became simple. Donate the common books. Clear the shelf. Keep the books that fit my business or that may be worth preserving and move forward. That decision created room for the books, the kind of books I actually want to sell. Unusual books, regional books, community cookbooks, genealogies, older institutional publications, books that are harder to replace, books that justify the time it takes to research and list them. Donating the common books wasn't giving up on inventory. It was making room for better inventory. And that's the positive side of cleaning things out or clearing things out. You gain space. You simplify your workload. You get clearer about what belongs in your business, and someone else may still benefit from what you donate. A thrift store may sell it. A library sale may use it. A community organization may give it away. A reader may find a book they genuinely enjoy. The item can still have a useful life even if you're not the person who sells it. Here's a simple challenge you can try. Choose 10 items from your unlisted or slow-moving inventory. For each item, ask, what will it realistically sell for? Because it might have changed within 6 months to a year or more since the last time you priced it. How much work does it need? Are you missing a button you can never replace? Do you even have time to clean whatever it is? How likely is it to sell? How much space is it taking? And what else could I do with the time? Then decide, do you list it, bundle it, donate it, or let it go another appropriate way? Don't create a new decide later pile. The goal is to reduce decision, not relocate them. You don't have to clear out half your inventory in one weekend. Start with 10 items. Even if you donate only 3, that's 3 fewer items taking up space and attention. And the more often you practice this, the easier future sourcing decisions become. You start recognizing what fits your business before you buy it. You become more selective. You learn which categories are worth your time and which ones keep turning into projects That's where the real value is. Donating inventory isn't always about recovering from a bad purchase because it's simply part of refining your business. I mean, huge businesses and organizations do this all the time. You can go into Costco and Sam's Club and they decide, we're not covering or carrying this item anymore. This is discount clearance. And after that, I don't know, they get rid of it somehow. They want it off the floor because it's taking valuable space in their inventory. So your business changes, your interests change, your profit goals change, and your available time changes. Inventory that made sense 2 years ago may not make sense now. It's okay to adjust. So let's go back to the question from the beginning. What's one type of inventory you've decided is no longer worth your time to sell? And what do you plan to focus on instead? Leave your answer in the comments below. Your answer may help another reseller who's trying to make the same decision. Sometimes the smartest business move isn't finding a way to earn another $5 from an item. Sometimes it's clearing the space, protecting your time, making room for better opportunities. This has been Reseller Radio from MoniBee Finds. Real finds, honest lessons, smarter reselling. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.